All right, just about 7:30 now. I'm Spectrum News meteorologist Ryan Finn. We have yet another tornado warning in effect for Columbia County. Also includes a small sliver of Greene County, but the worst of it right now is about to roll into Columbia County. This goes until 8 p.m., so we're here live wall-to-wall until 8 p.m., or if this weekends, which hopefully it does weaken, and the warning is allowed to expire a little bit early. But we are seeing some awful weather right now around Germantown, Catskill, Hudson. This is moving east at 25 miles per hour. We don't have this confirmed on the ground. This is radar indicated. We're seeing, I would say, moderate rotation within this cell. We're going to take a look at that here in a minute. But if you live in Livingston or Taconic, Philmont, Ghent, which was just hit very hard by a tornado-warned thunderstorm about 40 minutes ago, you want to be inside, preferably in your basement or the centermost portion of your house away from windows. We're going to flip on the velocity mode here of our radar. And this is going to show more what the wind is doing and where we're seeing rotation. And we've talked about this numerous times this evening because this is our third tornado warning of the evening. But this is showing what the wind is doing in terms of rotation. The greens are showing inbound wind, which would be wind tracking toward the radar site in Albany. And then the red is showing outbound wind, which would be showing wind away from the radar site. And this is where we're seeing our rotation right now, near the Germantown region, near the Catskill region. At the very least, this is likely putting down damaging straight line winds, potentially upwards of 70 miles per hour. And this is where we may have a wall cloud, a funnel cloud, or possibly even a tornado on the ground. And as I said just about a minute ago, if you live in Claverack, Livingston, Claremont, Taconic, you want to be inside. We're going to kind of show the evolution of this over the past 30 minutes or so and kind of show you what direction that it's moving in. It's moving east again, 25 miles per hour. And if there were a tornado on the ground with this, it would probably be somewhere between Catskill, Livingston, and Claverack. It's moving east-northeast at 25 miles per hour. So back into an area of Columbia County that has already been hit hard by a very strong thunderstorm. The one that just went by about a half hour to 40 minutes ago registered a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Columbia County Airport. Here's the rest of the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have in effect. We're going to touch on a strong part of this line that's moving through Rensselaer County and Washington County right now. But first things first, taking a look at the warnings. We also have a flash flood warning in effect for this area that is also under a tornado warning. 1 to 2 inches of rain came down with the first cell that went through. And now we're seeing more rain with this potentially tornadic cell that's passing through. So there's likely standing water, if not maybe some minor flooding in poor drainage areas, low-lying areas as well. Again, you want to be inside in the basement or in the centermost portion of your house if you live within this. You definitely don't want to be on the road, but that goes without saying. Here's the rest of this line moving through. We just had some very heavy rain here in Albany at the studio. Didn't hear any thunder, but some very heavy rain came down. That whole line is moving off to the east at a fairly good clip as well. We'll stop the loop of this, throw on the now, and we'll take a closer look at what we have going on. This is another area I want to touch on around Schaghticoke, Hoosick Falls, the Cambridge region. There was some indication that we had some very gusty winds, and it's still showing that right now. Maybe not so much around Schaghticoke anymore, but we did have some stronger winds about 15 minutes ago in that area. But where you have these brighter shades of red, this is indicating some stronger winds, not that much aloft. Around Hoosick Falls, Cambridge, and then you get over toward Bennington, Shaftesbury, Vermont. This is where we're probably seeing winds maybe gusting 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. The initial severe thunderstorm warning issued by the National Weather Service had this potentially putting out winds of maybe 80 miles per hour and penny-sized hail. So some real rough weather right now across southern Washington County, northern Rensselaer County, about to roll over into Vermont. And this is just another shot of the radar. Again, if you live in Pittsfield, you want to be inside. Hoosick Falls as well. We'll pan down here, further down into central Rensselaer County, out toward the Rensselaer Plateau, those Rensselaer Hill towns, Petersburg, Grafton, Berlin, West Sand Lake, Troy right now getting hit pretty hard, North Greenbush. This is moving to the east. So yeah, if you live in central or eastern Rensselaer County, Posting Kill, you want to be inside in a safe spot. Quick look at our forecast. We're going to look for showers and storms to taper. It's warm and humid, low to mid 80s tomorrow, warm and humid. More storms tomorrow afternoon, but not on the magnitude of what we're seeing go by right now. Our severe weather threat ends by 9 p.m. I think outside of maybe Berkshire County, Bennington County, we could still have a few stronger thunderstorms over there. Again, just said strong thunderstorms here for tomorrow, and then more storms over the course of the weekend. Quick look at our boating weather app at Lake George. Rinse and repeat of today. Good in the morning, early afternoon, not so great mid to late afternoon. Quick look at our 7-day forecast before we get back to this tornado warning. Saturday is going to be the better day to get outside, 88. Numerous showers and thunderstorms Sunday, tropical, and it's going to stay very warm and humid into next week. Looking at our tornado warning, if you're just joining us, it's just about 7:36. We've seen the tornado warning change a little bit. Now it's just into central Columbia County. And if you bear with me, I just want to get the latest info on this. I want to see if anything has changed, if we have any confirmation of a tornado on the ground, which it looks like we don't. This is still radar indicated and hopefully not producing a tornado, but still tracking off to the east now at 35 miles per hour. So it's picked up the pace a little bit, tracking toward the north side of Tacanic and Philmont. Here's the latest look of the radar. We're seeing very heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe quarter-size hail around Catskill, moving toward Claverack. Again, if you live in Livingston or Tacanic, Hillsdale, Austerlitz, Ghent, Copake, any of those spots, you want to be inside, preferably down in your basement. Let's flip on the velocity scan again here and see if we've seen an improvement or not. Maybe a little bit. Might look a little bit better compared to 15, 20 minutes ago. We'll look back here, maybe 15, 20 minutes. And you know what? I think actually it's showing, I would say about the same. Same amount of rotation, still a very dangerous thunderstorm. If we did have a tornado on the ground, it would be somewhere in the vicinity of Livingston or Claverack, moving east now at 35 miles per hour. Heads up if you live in Tacanic, Hillsdale, Austerlitz, getting over toward Ghent. I'll actually throw a storm track on this right now to kind of get an idea on timing. Again, moving east at about 35 miles per hour. Just bear with me here real quick while I set this up and we can get a storm track on this. So within the next, 25 minutes or so, it's going to be into the eastern part of Rensselaer County. Over toward Tacanic, 7:47, so within 10 minutes. Copake, 7:55, or around 8 o'clock rather. And then Hillsdale, just after 8 o'clock here this evening. Very dangerous thunderstorm making its way through Columbia County. Again, tornado warning in effect until 8 o'clock, so we have about 20 minutes left on this. We'll zoom out a bit more. And not only do we have the tornado warning on this storm, there's also a flash flood warning in effect for this area that has already seen 1 to 2 inches of rain. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings in effect from the capital region points east into southern Vermont and western Massachusetts. There's the flash flood warning in effect until 10:15. We just named off all these towns: Stottville, Ghent, getting over toward Austerlitz. These areas have been hit hard by rain, and they're seeing it again with this potential tornadic thunderstorm moving through. That was actually the first one that moved through that had a tornado warning on it. It's impacting Pittsfield. And then this is the next one. And if you look back to the west, there's another one which is making its way through the Catskills, western Greene counties. So even after this one moves through, we've got more rain coming in. The flash flood threat is going to persist at least into the latter half of this evening. Let's take a look at the other storms that are taking place around the area right now. We'll stop the loop, and you know what? We'll take a look over around the Pittsfield region, because this storm is still quite impressive, capable of damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, potentially some large hail as well. We'll pan up a little bit over into Rensselaer County, over into Washington County. We were talking about the potential for some very strong wind there, just to the south and east of Cambridge, around White Creek, Hoosick Falls. We had some heavy rain just pass by the station here in Albany. That's now impacting the Brunswick region, North Greenbush. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. Wineskill, West Sand Lake, if you live out that way, some nasty weather's about to roll in over toward East Greenbush. Getting a little bit of a break right now in Rensselaer County, but you can see all the areas that this is really about to impact. One more thing I want to do here, too, is we haven't looked at damage reports in a little while, so bear with me for just a second. I want to see if we've had any new damage reports come in. Numerous reports of trees and wires down today across Saratoga County. We had reports of some pretty large hail up across the Lake George region, just to the north of Lake George. And surprisingly enough, I would think that we would see more reports come in from the Mohawk Valley of wind damage, but that just hasn't happened yet. Down in Columbia County, no additional reports of wind damage or flash flooding, but that could certainly change for us here over the next hour or two as this line makes its way off to the east. I want to check out something else here because we're seeing a hail signature on radar. This just popped to my attention around Queemans and East Greenbush. So let's get a look at that here real quick before we take a really fast look at our forecast here for the next 24 hours. Maybe some penny to nickel size hail. Looked a little bit more impressive on reflectivity mode, but nonetheless some small to maybe moderate size hail there. And as we go down further into the Hudson Valley, potentials there around Saugerties, which is just out of our viewing area for some larger hail rolling through. All right, let's take a quick look at our forecast. Tonight, the showers and storms taper off. It's going to be a warm and humid night. We're in the low to mid 80s tomorrow. Additional storms. Our severe weather threat, I think, comes to an end by 9 p.m. The one exception to that might be Berkshire County, maybe Bennington County, depending on how fast this line makes its way off to the east. Showers and storms again here for tomorrow. We'll get a bit of a break on Saturday, and then more showers and storms here on Sunday. Boating weather at Lake George tomorrow is very similar to today. Keep an eye out for some late day downpours and thunderstorms. Saturday's the pick day this weekend to get outside, 88, and a pop shower or pop thunderstorm. Several rounds of showers and storms on Sunday. I think we'll have some concerns for localized flash flooding to wrap up the weekend. Looking at our tornado warning, it's 7:43. Doesn't look like we have any update to that. Want to pan out and just make sure that we don't have any more tornado warnings that have popped up. There was one other storm of interest down to the south, but yeah, just our one tornado warning for now. Again, this is where it's having the highest impact. It's making its way to the east at 35 miles per hour, along with the chance for a tornado. I want to touch on this real quick too. There could be some pretty big hail within this on the north side of this cell. Maybe quarter-size hail, potentially a little bit larger. We'll throw a Q on this here. And yeah, around an inch, which is about a quarter, a little bit less than a quarter-size hail. Again, tornado warning. Just want to reiterate that. Back to the radar. And again, this is moving east at 35 miles per hour. We'll throw a loop on this from the past 30 minutes, and you can kind of get an idea of the direction that this is going. Heads up to Canic, Copake Lake, Copake, Hillsdale, Canaan. This is tracking your way. Even looks like it might be moving a little bit more east-northeast at this point. The worst of this right now is definitely in between Hudson and Livingston. We'll zoom in a little bit closer, and yeah, you can take a closer look at that right there. As we'll flip on our velocity, we'll check out rotation, and this is still showing some signs of weak to moderate rotation at the very least, where we have this bright shade of red. I think that we're likely seeing some damaging straight line wind gusts. There's the potential there for a wall cloud, a funnel cloud, maybe a weak tornado just to the north of Tacanic. And again, can't reiterate it enough. Moving east at 35 miles per hour. If you live in Copake, Hillsdale, Austerlitz, Philmont, you want to be inside, preferably in the basement or the centermost portion of your house, away from windows. We have a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings outside of this tornado warning as this squall line makes its way across eastern New York. It's now starting to push its way into southern Vermont and western Mass. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Berkshire County not long ago. Looks like that has been able to expire a little bit early, or maybe on time. Wasn't quite sure how long that went, but nonetheless, a little bit of good news in that sense. Flash flood warning in effect for Columbia County. This is going to need to be watched because we have more heavy rain rolling through right now. We've got another storm which is making its way across western Greene County and is about to roll into Columbia County within the next half hour or so. Very heavy rainfall coming down. I want to just take a look at this right now, working through Columbia County. Yeah, just torrential rainfall along with the potential for that isolated tornado. What you see that's moving through Lexington, Hunter, about to roll through Tannersville, Cairo, Palinville. This is going to make its way right across Columbia County again. And this is what we call training of thunderstorms, just thunderstorms hitting the same spot over and over and over. And that's only going to up our chance for flash flooding over the next couple of hours. Very heavy rainfall continues. Cambridge, Pittstown. It looks like the wind threat has come down in this area and is now shifted over towards Shaftesbury and Bennington. So that's some good news. Getting a quick look at our forecast here for tonight. Mid to upper 60s, warm and humid. We're going to see the showers and thunderstorms tapering off. A tropical day ahead for tomorrow. And while we'll have some storms popping up tomorrow, I don't think that we have the severe weather threat that we had here this afternoon and up to this point. Severe weather threat for this evening, I think for basically everybody outside of Berkshire and Bennington County, is going to end by 9 o'clock. Showers and storms are possible and really likely here for tomorrow. As I mentioned, I think we mix in a mostly dry Saturday before getting active again on Sunday. Boating weather, Lake George. Tomorrow's boating weather very similar to what we had here today. A lot of dry weather in the morning, early afternoon, and then potentially active into the evening. Quick look at our 7-day forecast before we get back to tornado coverage. 88 on Saturday, that's the day to get outside. Good pool, good lake weather. Sunday, numerous showers, downpours, and thunderstorms. Potentials there for localized flash flooding here on Sunday. And then it stays warm and humid into next week, with spotty showers and storms possible. Just about 7:48 now. Tornado warning continues for central Columbia County. We do not have confirmation of this on the ground, or at least I don't think we do. We'll take a look at some storm reports if we have any new ones coming in. Nonetheless, this is a dangerous storm, even if it isn't producing a tornado. At the very least, straight line winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. Potentials there for small to moderate sized hail. I want to look quick here, just because I brought it up. I want to see if we do have any new storm reports that have come in from this area or any other area. That's an old one there. That's one from the cell about an hour and a half ago around the Columbia County Airport of 60 mile per hour wind gust that was observed. This is a new one here just to the south of Niverville. And this is actually somewhat older. 610 trees and wires down around Hudson Street in the town of Kinderhook. So no real new reports in Columbia County. We'll zoom out and see if we have any new wind damage reports from Saratoga, Washington County, the Mohawk Valley. Doesn't look like we do. So we're going to go back down here to Columbia County. And we're going to flip on the velocity, see if we're still seeing some rotation. Does look a little bit weaker, which is good news around Claverack, just to the north of Tacanic. That's probably the worst of the weather taking place right now in terms of wind. Want to go back maybe 15 minutes or so just to check out the evolution of this. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had wind damage around Claverack or just to the north of Tacanic. But this looks a little bit better in terms of rotation. It looks like it's a bit weaker. Want to point out, it's actually right on the fringe of our viewing area. This doesn't have a warning on it, or at least a tornado warning, but this will be something to watch around Claremont within the next 15 to 20 minutes to see how that develops. But at the very least, around Philmont and Tacanic, that's where we're probably going to see a wind damage report or two. Hillsdale, Austerlitz, this is coming your way. You definitely want to be inside. These are the rest of the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have in effect, including that one that is right on the county line of Dutchess County and Columbia County. We have these severe thunderstorm warnings continuing. It looks like for the next half hour or so. This one that includes Albany in effect until 8. This one also in effect until 8. The one over in Berkshire County in effect until 8:15 or so. Taking a look at our flash flood warning, this continues until 10:15, and I don't think that this will expire early just because of the rain that's coming down in this area right now and more rain coming in from Columbia County. You can see that the sky has just opened up. It's just gushing downpours across much of Columbia County right now, and we've got more coming in from Greene County as well. Don't really have to take a look at this area anymore. It looks like it's just some heavy rainfall. But if we pan off to the south into Rensselaer County, this area getting hit very hard with heavy rain, potentially some hail. I wouldn't be surprised if we had at least some standing water, some ponding, or even minor flooding in these areas. Sand Lake, Nassau, Schodack, East Greenbush. This is moving east toward Berlin and Stephentown. I would say travel highly discouraged right now across all of Rensselaer County with this rain coming down. Flash flooding, a real possibility in this area. I would not be surprised at all if we had a flash flood warning issued in this area sometime soon. In fact, I want to take a look at that, pan up a little bit to see if we even have it. Just the one right now that's in Columbia County, but Rensselaer County getting hit especially hard right now by some very heavy rainfall. Quick look at our forecast for tonight and into tomorrow. Warm and humid, mid to upper 60s. Warm and very humid tomorrow. Dew points are going to be in the 70s. Afternoon thunderstorms, but not on the magnitude of what we had here today. Severe weather threat for most of the region ending by 9 p.m. We're going to stay unsettled through the weekend, although I think Saturday is going to be a day for us to get outside. Not bad boating weather up at Lake George tomorrow, similar to today. But 2, 3, 4 o'clock after that, after about 2 p.m., you'll need to keep a watchful eye to the sky. Looking at our 7-day forecast now. 88 Saturday, 83 Sunday, but super humid. The heat and humidity sticks around into much of next week with isolated showers and storms Tuesday and Thursday. Looking at our current tornado warning, in effect for about 7 more minutes, just about 7:53 now. It's in effect until 8 o'clock, unless something has changed, and it doesn't look like it has. No new confirmation, and doesn't look like the warning has been extended. Again, we're talking about it looking maybe a little bit weaker in terms of rotation, but producing a tremendous amount of rain and potentially some hail as well. So first we'll take a look at the velocity, see what kind of rotation that we're looking at. It does look a little bit weaker than about 15 or 20 minutes ago, but still a very dangerous storm around the Philmont region, Taconic region, moving toward Austerlitz and Hillsdale. You definitely want to be inside. We'll take a look at our hail here, and this looks to be, actually this is for a different cell that's down towards Saugerties. We'll actually take a look at this. This looks like maybe ping pong ball size hail. Yeah, 1.5 inches, that's ping pong ball size hail. We'll flip the radar back on and take a quick look at that. The southern part of this right now, that's where we could be seeing some very, very large hail just to the east of Saugerties, right around Germantown and Claremont. Once this passes by, if you have any damage or any hail pictures, any kind of severe weather pictures from these storms, and you can safely snap a picture, share them with us on the Spectrum News app or on social media. Still numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, which are all in effect until 8 o'clock. Outside of this one in Berkshire County, which is in effect until 8:15, our flash flood warning continues until 10:15. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if we had an additional flash flood warning issued for central and southern Rensselaer County. They're just getting crushed right now by very heavy rainfall. And this is an area that has historically had problems with flash flooding during severe thunderstorms. We've had a really bad flash flood out toward the West Sand Lake region, out toward Averill Park. just given how the roads are and the terrain, has me a little bit worried about this area with very heavy rainfall from Schodack to Queens, Nassau, tracking eventually around the Posting Kill region, North Greenbush, eventually heading over towards Stephentown. So this is going to be an area to watch over the next hour or so in terms of flooding. Let's flip on our storm report from the past 6 hours. Nothing new out of Rensselaer County the way it looks right now. Nothing new out of Columbia County. We have numerous reports of wind damage across Saratoga and Warren County. A lot of those are old, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had new reports coming in later on this evening after things kind of settle down. This is just a tremendous amount of rainfall right now around West Sand Lake, where we're seeing these purples, probably some hail within this as well. Where else do we want to check out here? Let's see, there's just so much going on across our region right now. A lot to track, a lot to cover. We mentioned before some big hail possible around Germantown, Livingston, Claremont. Northern side of this cell is where we're seeing the potential for rotation and potentially a tornado. At the very least, where we have this brighter shade of red just to the east of Philmont, got to think that that is producing some damaging straight line wind gusts right now. Let's go back a little bit here. Actually, we'll go forward. We'll take a quick look at our forecast here for tonight and into tomorrow. Warm and humid tonight and tomorrow. Additional storms for tomorrow. 3 things to know. Severe weather threat ends by 9 p.m. We're going to have more storms tomorrow, but not on the magnitude of what we had here today. Boating weather up at Lake George, basically the same as today. And a quick look at our 7-day forecast. Saturday's the pick day to get outside this weekend. Sunday is going to be wet with numerous downpours and thunderstorms, very humid. We'll have to watch the potential for flash flooding on Sunday. And then it's back to dry, hot, humid weather here on Monday. We have about 3 minutes left on our tornado warning, thinking that they're going to let this expire at 8 o'clock. We'll have to wait and see, but just checking in to see if it's still going, which it is. Philmont right now, yeah, that's where the worst of it likely is. If we did have a tornado, that's where it would be taking place. If nothing else, we have strong damaging winds in that vicinity right now. Torrential rainfall. We also have a flash flood warning in this area, and there's the potential for some hail as well. This is moving east at 35 miles per hour. Austerlitz, Hillsdale. Let's zoom on in closer, see if we can get a couple more smaller towns. Doesn't look like we have any more small towns popping up, but if you live in Western Mass, if you're watching us from Berkshire County, Housatonic, Great Barrington, Pittsfield, you've got some nasty weather coming your way. Same goes for the Lee-Lenox region. This is not looking good over the next half hour to 45 minutes. Flipping on back to velocity, we want to take a look at the wind here because we have some weak rotation right now happening just to around the Claremont region, around Livingston. We're going to have to monitor that area. And again, up toward Philmont, that's where we're seeing probably some of the worst weather in the region right now. New severe thunderstorm warnings issued for this area. Let's take a look at that real quick. Right around Copake Lake, Pine Plains, just out of our viewing area. That new severe thunderstorm warning continues until 9 o'clock. Over into Greene County, Columbia County. That one looks like it's going to expire at 8. And we have a new one, looks like, or maybe it's an old one, that is in effect for the Pittsfield region. That goes until 8:15. So that's the most up-to-date that we have right now on severe thunderstorm warnings. Flash flood warning continues for Columbia County until 10:15. Here's a look at the radar. We have all this moving between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Rensselaer County, Columbia County just getting hammered right now by very heavy rainfall and probably some strong wind gust within this, cloud-to-ground lightning, and the potential's there for some pretty large hail, especially across southern Columbia County. Zooming in real quick. Sorry about the zoom there. Kind of on a loop here, so I have to kind of pan it down by hand. And yeah, Rensselaer County around Sand Lake just getting decimated by heavy rainfall. Would not be surprised if flash flooding was taking place there. You really don't want to be out on the roads if you live in Rensselaer County or Columbia County. And your safest bet is to be inside in a safe place somewhere in your house, preferably your basement or in the centermost portion of your house away from windows. Livingston, Claremont, just getting hammered with heavy rain, gusty winds around Tacanic as well. And yeah, just barely moving to the east between 30 and 35 miles per hour. We're going to take a quick look at our 7-day forecast. We're going to skip ahead here. Looking at our 7-day forecast, just want to check out what time it is right now. We're at 8 o'clock, and here's a look at our 7-day. Want to head back to the tornado warning to see. And yeah, allowed to expire on time. So if everyone in the control room can hear me, David, if you can hear me, Master Control would like to send things back over to our regular programming. We'll be back at around 8:11 with another live weather update.